Living alone as you age is often portrayed as a peaceful and empowering journey, and indeed it is a profound testament to personal freedom and self-reliance. But there's another side, a deeper truth, that's rarely talked about until you actually experience it. In this exploration from Stoic Secrets, we delve into the little-spoken realities of living alone as you gracefully navigate the later chapters of life, and how modern Stoicism can profoundly transform the quiet moments into an unparalleled opportunity for profound personal growth. These aren't just isolated personal experiences. They are a resonant collection of real stories, shared wisdom, and tangible lessons from countless individuals who have walked this path before you. And no, they're not all grim. They are simply facts, rich with lessons and opportunities. The unseen realities, becoming your own fortress. Now let's explore the Stoic secrets to living alone and truly living well. You don't really think about it until that pivotal, sometimes startling, moment when something goes wrong and there's no one immediately around. No roommate, no partner, no curious neighbor instinctively knocking to check in. That's when the profound truth hits you. When you live alone, especially as you age, you are your own safety net. You are the first responder, the emergency contact, the vigilant guardian who instinctively notices when something is amiss. Picture this vivid scenario. There's an older man named Howard in Michigan. One quiet morning, he slipped in his kitchen, a simple, unexpected mishap, and dislocated his shoulder. He lay there dazed, vulnerable, and tragically unable to move for almost 4 grueling hours before, by sheer improbable luck, he could drag himself just close enough to reach his phone. "I never thought I'd be that guy," he later shared in a poignant online post, echoing the silent fears of many. "Now I carry my phone with me even when I go to the bathroom." It may sound extreme until it happens to you. This is the kind of raw, unflinching story people rarely share, preferring to romanticize solitude. Living alone is often sold as a peaceful freedom, a quiet empowerment, and yes, it absolutely can be a sanctuary. But it also unequivocally means you must become your own meticulously crafted backup plan. Proactive preparedness, the wisdom of foresight. You have to think ahead with a clear, strategic mind. What if you fall? What if you can't get up? Who will know? This isn't about dwelling in fear. It's about embracing foresight. That's why many older adults wisely invest in smartwatches with emergency calling features. Some utilize medical alert systems, wearing discreet buttons around their necks or wrists, silent sentinels of safety. Others, like a remarkably self-reliant woman I once met at a Stoicism conference in Colorado, go so far as to install a lockbox outside their home with a key inside, just in case trusted friends or paramedics need urgent access. There is profound wisdom in that level of preparedness. It's not fear, it's foresight. You may want to seriously consider creating a simple yet robust safety routine. Keep your phone within arm's reach, even at home. Set a daily check-in time with a trusted friend or family member. A simple call, a quick text. Install motion sensors or smart devices that can alert others if something's genuinely wrong. The truth is, no one wants to feel vulnerable. But true strength, a deeply Stoic strength, lies in acknowledging your risks with clear eyes and preparing for them with unwavering resolve. So what's the empowering lesson here? When you live alone, you are the guardian of your own well-being. That doesn't mean living in constant fear. It means living with profound clarity. Equip yourself, plan ahead, and empower yourself with the unshakable peace of mind that should something happen, you're not helpless. You are ready, you are capable. The silent shadow of loneliness, cultivating meaningful connections. You might assume that living alone is perfect for someone like you, an introvert, someone who deeply values peace and quiet, who genuinely doesn't crave constant interaction. And in many ways, that's undeniably true. You finally gain the freedom to live at your own unique pace, unburdened by small talk or social pressures. But here's what people rarely tell you, a subtle yet potent truth. Even if you've always been someone who deeply enjoys solitude, loneliness can, and often does, creep in, especially as you gracefully grow older. You may have been perfectly content with your own company for years, but with age, the world around you quietly, almost imperceptibly, shifts. Your social circle naturally gets smaller. Cherished friends move away, some retire, others inevitably pass on. You might stop getting invites as often, and suddenly your days can feel perceptibly emptier than before. One older man shared online, with a raw honesty that resonates. Some days I don't speak a single word to anyone. He valued his fierce independence deeply, yet he profoundly missed the everyday, simple interactions, having someone nearby to talk about the weather, to comment on dinner, or even just to simply sit in comfortable silence together. Finding your tribe, the power of intentional engagement. Even for the most inward-focused person, a sustained lack of genuine human connection takes a significant toll. It's not about needing constant company, it's about the fundamental human need for feeling seen, heard, and remembered. What's more, making new friends as an older adult isn't always easy. It takes courage and vulnerability to reach out, and many of the traditional spaces where you once socialized, workplaces, parent groups, community events, may no longer be a vibrant part of your daily life. So how do you find meaningful, enriching connection? Many wisely turn to pets, and not just for companionship. A pet gives you something precious to care for, a comforting routine, a small but steady sense of responsibility. One woman beautifully wrote, "My cat can't talk, but she's always at the door when I get home." That changes everything. Others find profound comfort in simple, deliberate rituals, visiting the same cafe, walking in the park, joining a book club, volunteering once a week. These small, consistent routines anchor your day and gently remind you that you are still a vital part of something larger than yourself. Take Joe, for example, a 67-year-old veteran in Arizona. After his wife passed away, he spent almost 2 years barely speaking to anyone. Then one transformative day, he signed up to volunteer at the local library. "I shelf books twice a week," he said, with a quiet smile. "But really I go for the chats between the shelves." That single, simple decision gave him back something he didn't even realize he was so deeply missing. So here's the liberating truth. Living alone doesn't mean you have to be alone. There are powerful ways to build connection, even if they start small. Begin by simply saying hello to someone you see regularly. Consider a pet if you can lovingly care for one. Join a group either online or in your neighborhood. Reach out to a friend you haven't spoken to in a while, just to say hello. You don't need a crowd, just 1 or 2 meaningful connections can make a profound world of difference. Have you ever felt that quiet ache of loneliness, even when you thought you were perfectly fine? And if so, what helped you feel connected again? Loneliness visits us all, but it doesn't have to stay. Comment connection. If this part spoke to your heart, and stay with us. The next principle might be the daily rhythm you have been deeply needing. The burden of maintenance, reclaiming your home as a sanctuary. Let me ask you something profoundly practical. When was the last time you cleaned out your gutters, fixed a leaky faucet, or trimmed back the hedge without groaning afterward? When you're younger, maintaining a house feels like just another part of life, maybe even satisfying. But as the years gracefully pile on, so does the subtle, persistent weight of all those tasks. You start to notice it in small, insidious ways. That hallway light bulb stays burned out longer. The grass gets a little too high. The clutter builds room by room. And before you know it, what used to be perfectly manageable feels like an overwhelming mountain. One woman wrote online, with a weary honesty, "I keep a list of things I want to fix around the house, but most of them just sit there. Not because I don't care, I just don't have the energy anymore." That hit me hard because it's not about being lazy. It's about acknowledging our human limits and learning to wisely navigate them. Now let me tell you a true, inspiring story about Barbara, a 72-year-old widow in Ohio. She deeply loved her big family home, filled with countless memories and comforting warmth. But little by little, it became too much. The endless stairs, the sprawling yard, the constant repairs. One winter, a broken pipe tragically flooded her basement. By the time she realized the damage was done, the sense of overwhelm was crushing. "I felt helpless," she said with a quiet tear. "It wasn't just water. It was like the house was telling me, this is too much for one person." letting go and seeking support, practicality over pride. So with immense courage, she made a pivotal choice. She downsized to a smaller, one-story home with a tiny garden she could tend without straining her back. "I cried when I left the old house," she admitted, her voice softer. "But now I sleep better. I feel lighter." If you find yourself overwhelmed by the demands of your living space, don't be afraid to ask for help. Hire out the heavy stuff if your budget allows. Reach out to friends or neighbors for an occasional helping hand. And if you're holding on to a house that's become more burden than joy, it might be time to courageously consider a change. Because your home shouldn't feel like a trap. It should support you, nurture you, not drain your precious energy. Here's what I hope you'll take away from this. You don't have to do everything alone. Let go of the guilt. Choose practicality over pride. And if it truly brings you peace, don't be afraid to release the space that once defined your life, especially if it no longer serves the vibrant person you've become. So tell me, with honest self-reflection, is your home still serving you, or are you silently serving it? The anchors of routine, shaping your time, grounding your poem. When you live alone, especially in your later years, routines stop being just mere habits. They profoundly transform into lifelines. You may not notice it at first, the precise way you brew your coffee, the specific time you water your plants, the beloved chair you sit in to read the paper. These aren't just habits, they are anchors in a world that constantly shifts. These little things, these gentle rituals, stay steady. I remember talking to a wise woman in her 70s who told me, "Every morning I play the same jazz song while making breakfast. I don't even think about it anymore. It just helps me feel like the day has a shape." That struck a deep chord because living alone often means your time is entirely your own, which can be both an extraordinary gift and, at times, a subtle weight. Without a partner to coordinate with or children to keep track of, your day can start to feel unstructured, unbound. And unstructured time, while liberating, can quickly become disorienting. One older gentleman said something that has stayed with me. "I look forward to watering my plants each night. It's quiet, repetitive, grounding. It gives my day a start and an end." Rituals give rhythm to the quiet. They remind you that you're still in motion, still beautifully engaged in the world, even when it feels like everything else has slowed down. And these routines don't have to be elaborate or complex. Maybe it's walking the same serene path around the block, listening to your favorite podcast at 4 p.m., or making a comforting soup every Friday. These are not chores, they are personal ceremonies. They are the gentle scaffolding of your solitude. In a society that often worships spontaneity and novelty, routines are profoundly misunderstood. People mistakenly think they're boring. But when you're on your own, routine can become your soft armor, a structure you consciously create for your own profound peace. Let me be clear, having a regular pattern to your days doesn't mean your life is dull. It means your life is grounded. And grounding is precisely what allows you to stand steady with unshakable composure when things feel uncertain. The sacred act of cooking for oneself, a declaration of self-worth. No one really tells you how strange it feels to cook a full meal just for yourself. It sounds simple, right? But when you live alone, especially later in life, cooking becomes one of those unexpectedly emotional tasks. You open the fridge, it's mostly half portions and leftovers. You think, is it even worth it to dirty a pan for one plate of pasta? I've heard so many stories of people who gave up cooking entirely. They relied on frozen meals, takeout, or simply crackers and cheese, not out of laziness, but because the idea of putting in effort just for themselves felt hollow, uninspired. But here's what I want you to consider, a profound Stoic perspective. What if cooking for yourself is one of the purest forms of self-respect? Let me tell you about Grace, a retired teacher in Oregon. After her husband passed, she stopped cooking altogether. "I ate cereal for dinner most nights," she admitted with a sigh. "It was easier that way." But one night she caught her own reflection in the kitchen window, tired, slumped, and holding a spoonful of cold beans. She whispered to herself, "Is this how I treat someone I love?" The very next day, a powerful shift occurred. She pulled out her old recipe cards. She made a small roast, lit a candle, and poured a glass of wine. It felt silly at first, she said, a small smile gracing her lips. But it also felt like I was telling myself, you still matter. And that, my friend, is the whole beautiful point. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once asked, how long are you going to wait before you demand the best for yourself? That question echoes loudly in moments like these. When you choose to prepare a proper meal, to plate it nicely, to sit down and truly taste, to savor each intentional bite, you are declaring that your life still deserves ceremony. Cooking doesn't have to be elaborate. It just has to be intentional. Make soup on Sundays and freeze it. Try one new recipe a month. Keep it simple, but make it undeniably yours. And don't do it just for nutrition. Do it for dignity. Do it because you're still here and your presence still profoundly matters. So I ask you this, when was the last time you cooked, not just to eat, but to honor your own sacred presence at the table? Embracing silence, a sanctuary for the soul. Silence is something many people don't realize will have a profound effect on them when they start living alone, especially if you've previously lived in a large, bustling family or worked full-time in a noisy environment. At first, the silence can become a soothing backdrop for your morning coffee, your evening book, and your rich inner world. But then there are the nights when the sun sets and the rooms feel a little too still. The silence doesn't just gently wrap around you, it presses in, a palpable presence. I remember reading the poignant story of Helen, a retired nurse from Ohio. She spent her entire career surrounded by a symphony of noise, alarms, patient chatter, the constant hum of a hospital. After retiring and tragically losing her husband, she was stunned by the profound stillness of her house. I didn't realize how loud silence could be, she wrote, capturing the exact contradiction. Silence for some is comfort. For others, it's a hollow echo. When you live alone, especially as you age, silence can creep into corners you didn't expect. It's not just the absence of sound, it's the absence of shared experience. No one to laugh with at a silly commercial, no voice answering from the other room, no footstep but your own. To some, this becomes unbearable. That's why many older adults find themselves unconsciously leaving the television on all day, not to watch, but just to fill the air. Some tune into talk radio, not for the news, but for the comforting feeling of a familiar voice. One man admitted with raw honesty, I started playing podcasts in every room, just so it wouldn't feel like I disappeared. But here's the profound paradox. Silence can also be deeply healing. For those who've spent their lives caregiving, serving, working nonstop, silence offers a rare, sacred invitation to listen inward. It gives you the precious space to think, to breathe, to truly reconnect with yourself. It's in these quiet, unhurried moments that we often hear the unvarnished truth of who we are. In his Meditations, Marcus Aurelius wisely wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." What the Stoics remind us is that peace isn't just the absence of noise, it's the presence of inner alignment. Silence, when courageously embraced rather than feared, becomes the fertile soil in which clarity and wisdom grow. So what can you do? Balance the silence. Don't drown it out completely, but don't let it consume you either. Play music that lifts your mood. Call someone, even for just 5 minutes, just to hear a human voice. Let the gentle hum of the world in, not to replace the quiet, but to complement it. Create soundscapes that feel nourishing. Bird sounds in the morning, jazz during dinner, laughter from a favorite show before bed. And when the silence grows loud again, sit with it. Ask it what it's trying to tell you. Sometimes it's simply asking you to rest. Sometimes it's gently nudging you towards something new. A class, a walk, a conversation you have been avoiding. But before we go any further, pause with the silence like this video, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss what's next. And if you believe silence can both comfort and confront you, comment below, I hear the silence. Because sometimes quiet is the loudest, most profound teacher. The motion of life, keeping your body and spirit alive. Living alone, especially as you grow older, means you have fewer built-in reasons to move your body. There's no partner suggesting an afternoon walk, no one nudging you to get out of the house for groceries or errands. Days can subtly blend together, one quiet moment rolling into the next, until you find yourself sitting more than you're standing. Many people on forums admit it. After some time living solo, their strength, flexibility, and stamina noticeably decline. And it wasn't dramatic, it was subtle. A missed walk here, a skipped chore there. Until one day the stairs feel steeper, the joints creak louder. One older gentleman shared, with a touch of regret, "I slowly stopped going on my daily walks. I didn't even realize it. One day I tried to bend down to tie my shoe, and my knees felt like they were made of rust." Physical movement, when you live alone, requires a deliberate mindset. There's no one to motivate you but yourself. That's both the profound challenge and the incredible opportunity. You don't need a gym membership or a high-intensity routine. What you need is consistency and intention. Simple routines can powerfully anchor your day and re-energize your body. Set a goal to walk every day, even just around the block. Do a few gentle stretches each morning before breakfast. Join a senior-friendly fitness class in your community center. These seemingly small actions have a powerful compounding effect. Let me tell you about Diane, a vibrant 73-year-old woman from Oregon. After her husband passed, she found herself becoming increasingly sedentary. "I didn't even realize how much we moved around together until he was gone," she said, a wistful note in her voice. "We walked every evening. After he died, I just stopped." One day, her doctor warned her that her blood pressure and balance were becoming concerning. That very day, she went home and adopted a rescue dog named Teddy. "He saved me," Diane said with genuine emotion. "I had no choice but to take him out for walks, even in the rain. That's how I got back on my feet, literally." Today, Diane walks 2 miles every morning, rain or shine, and she credits Teddy not only for her improved health, but also for helping her reconnect with neighbors and nature. You don't need a dog to move more. You can dance freely in your living room, tend to your garden, or choose stairs instead of the elevator. The key is to make movement a cherished part of your daily rhythm, not as a chore, but as a celebration of what your body can still beautifully do. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "No great thing is created suddenly." That applies to strength, to vitality, to overall well-being. A little each day and the results quietly, steadily build. What are you doing today to keep your body in motion? The fluidity of time, giving your days shape and purpose. One thing people rarely talk about when you live alone, especially after retirement, is how your perception of time begins to subtly yet profoundly shift. When you no longer have others around, marking the day with their comings and goings, a spouse's work schedule, your kids' school routines, or even casual weekend plans, time becomes fluid. Hours drift, days blur, weeks vanish. A man once wrote with a sense of quiet disorientation, "After my wife died, I often lost track of what day it was. Sometimes I'd wake up and not know if it was morning or afternoon. It all felt the same." Living alone means you have to be the one who gives your time structure and shape. If not, time starts to stretch and dissolve, like waste in an empty room. But here's the incredible upside, the Stoic opportunity. You now have the power to design your time intentionally. Some people wisely create soft schedules, grocery shopping every Monday, laundry on Thursday, meal prep on Sunday. Others sign up for weekly classes, book club meetings, or even online groups that give comforting rhythm to their week. I remember reading about a man in Colorado who started baking bread every Saturday morning. "It's just for me," he said, a quiet joy in his voice. "But I wake up excited. It gives my weekend a beginning." These aren't rigid rules, they're anchors. They tether your time, give it a beginning, middle, and end. They help you look forward, plan, and reflect. Another woman said she began planning theme nights at home. Italian dinner on Tuesdays, movie night Fridays, phone calls with her sister on Sundays. "It sounds silly," she wrote, with a knowing smile, "but it makes the days feel like they matter." The Stoics believed in honoring the present moment as the only thing truly within our control. As Seneca once profoundly said, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste a lot of it." When you live alone, you have a rare and precious gift: uninterrupted time. The key is to use it with purpose, not rigidly, but mindfully. So here's the reflection I leave with you. If your time is now fully yours, how will you consciously shape it to reflect the life you truly want to live? Curating your space, releasing the past, embracing the present. When you begin to shape your time with intention, something else powerful starts to emerge. The desire to shape your space in the same way. Living alone gives you complete control over your environment. You no longer have to compromise on decor, clutter, or even what stays and what goes. But with that freedom comes a surprising emotional challenge: letting go. Downsizing sounds liberating, and in many ways it truly is. You don't have to argue with anyone over which old chair to keep or which stack of magazines to toss. But every object in your home now tells a story. That lamp wasn't just a lamp. It was from the first apartment you shared with your partner. That mug, a cherished gift from a friend who's no longer here. One woman online said with a hint of melancholy, "I kept so many things for sentimental value, even though I didn't need them anymore." I'd tell myself, I live alone, who does it hurt if I keep these? But then I thought, do I want someone else to sort through all this when I'm gone? That's the emotional paradox of living alone. You become the sole historian of your life, but also the sole curator of what to keep and what to release. There's immense power in simplifying. One man in Oregon, a retired school principal, spent a summer thoughtfully downsizing his home. It wasn't just about getting rid of stuff, he said, his voice thoughtful. It was about deciding who I am now, not who I was 20 years ago. And that's a profound question to ask yourself. Who are you now? Decluttering when you're older isn't about minimalism for the sake of trend. It's about making space that truly reflects your present self, not your past chapters. Keep what brings you genuine joy or meaning. Let go of the rest, piece by piece. The Stoics taught us to prepare for impermanence. As Epictetus wisely said, "He is a wise man who does not grieve for the things he has not, but rejoices for those which he has." Simplifying your surroundings doesn't mean erasing your memories. It means honoring them without being weighed down by them. So start small, one drawer, one box, one story at a time. Give yourself permission to feel the emotions that come with it. Because in the end, this is your space. You have every right to shape it according to who you are and who you're bravely becoming. Redefining the social connection, becoming the architect of your joy. One of the surprising realities of growing older and living alone is how the social invitations subtly begin to fade. Not because people forget about you, but because life takes them in different directions. Careers, grandkids, relocations, health issues. The dinner parties, casual get-togethers, and spontaneous visits become less frequent, and gradually your calendar grows quiet. This shift can feel personal, even though it isn't. You might find yourself wondering if you did something wrong or why no one checks in anymore. But the truth is, everyone is simply moving through their own unique chaos, just like you. That's where modern Stoicism steps in, not as a resignation, but as a form of quiet strength. According to Stoic principles, the one thing fully in your control is your response. You can't force people to call, to invite you, or to remember your needs, but you can profoundly decide not to wait in sorrow. You can choose to act. Living alone, especially with age, means you no longer rely on the world to bring the celebration to your doorstep. You become the source, the host, the spark. What does that look like? It might mean picking a day of the week to brew your favorite tea and enjoy it like a sacred ritual. It could be planning a cozy movie night at home with popcorn and a blanket just for yourself. Or maybe you set up a weekly call with someone you genuinely enjoy, not to fill the silence, but to create connection with intentionality. Modern Stoicism teaches us that joy is not dependent on others, but cultivated by the self. The Stoic does not mourn the absence of attention. They create meaning through action. When you start taking full responsibility for your own joy, something powerful shifts. The empty calendar becomes a canvas. The key is to initiate, not out of desperation, but out of autonomy. You invite, you organize, you create. That could mean organizing a small book club, or starting a walking group, or even learning a new craft online and sharing your progress with others. You don't have to wait for permission. You only need purpose. And this is where the strength of living alone becomes brilliantly clear. No one dictates how your time is spent. You define it. You decide what fills your space and your hours. That's not loneliness, that's authorship. Living alone means you have the profound freedom to design your own social life. So embrace it. If you enjoy crafts, invite others over to DIY. If you enjoy a certain television show, plan a weekly viewing session. Be the first to reach out, and you'll find others are often more willing to reciprocate. The mirror of self-awareness, embracing self-accountability. Have you ever walked past a mirror and felt like a stranger was staring back? It happens more often than you'd expect when you live alone. Without the constant reflection of others, no partner to notice your tired eyes, no roommate to ask how you're holding up, there's a quiet drift away from self-awareness. Days blur, meals become skipped, routines dissolve without protest. Seneca once wrote, "No man is more unhappy than he who never faces adversity, for he is not permitted to prove himself." Living solo, especially in later life, isn't always marked by dramatic trials. It's the subtler tests that quietly erode your resilience. One of those tests, staying accountable to yourself when no one else is watching. When you live alone, no one reminds you to shower, to eat, to change your clothes. There's no curious glance asking why you're still in pajamas at 4 p.m. or encouraging you to cook a proper meal. And without those external nudges, it becomes alarmingly easy to let things slip. You might think, what's the point? It's just me. But that's precisely why it matters. You are the point. Modern Stoicism emphasizes personal responsibility, especially in solitude. You don't tend to yourself because someone's watching. You do it because your well-being is your domain. Like a disciplined gardener who faithfully waters plants even when no one visits the garden, you show up for you. Self-care doesn't mean luxury, it means intention. It means changing out of sleepwear even if the day has no appointments. Preparing a wholesome breakfast because your body deserves nourishment. Stepping outside to breathe fresh air because movement keeps the spirit from stagnation. Some people create evening rituals, lighting a candle, brushing their hair slowly, writing in a journal. Not for performance, but for presence. These are not small things, they are quiet declarations. I still matter. My experience still matters. When you forget to take care of yourself, the days can feel gray and heavy. But when you reclaim these gentle acts of care, something shifts. You begin to recognize yourself again, not just in the mirror, but in your choices. You may live alone, but you still deserve the absolute best care. And only you can give that to yourself. You've learned how to care for yourself when no one else is around. That's already an act of quiet courage. But deeper than self-care is self-mastery, and that's where Stoicism becomes essential. As you age, life becomes less about chasing and more about choosing. And the Stoics knew this better than anyone. So now let's turn to the timeless principles of Stoic wisdom, the kind that doesn't just help you survive aging, but helps you shape it with strength, stillness, and clarity. Because growing older isn't the end of control, it's the beginning of deeper command. 8 Stoic principles for modern aging, a path to resilience. Living alone in old age can indeed be a challenge, especially without a solid inner foundation to lean on. Stoicism, a philosophy that is over 2,000 years old, is a powerful and practical guide to living a life of freedom, peace, and purpose. In this section, we explore 8 timeless Stoic principles, reimagined for modern aging, helping you live deeply, resiliently, and wisely no matter what life throws at you. Let's continue. 1. Distinguish what's within your control, releasing expectations. The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. Epictetus. Living alone in your later years doesn't always feel like loneliness. Not at first. Sometimes it's something softer. A quiet, persistent ache. A space in you that feels like it was meant to be filled, not by noise, not by crowds, but by profound meaning. For many older adults, what stings the most isn't simply being alone. It's unmet expectations. It's what you once imagined growing older would look like, and how painfully different it turned out to be. You might have thought your children would visit more often. You might have pictured daily chats with neighbors or spontaneous dinners with old friends. You might have believed that retirement would be peaceful, fulfilling, even cinematic. And when those expectations aren't met, even if life is still good in other ways, there's a quiet kind of grief that sneaks in. A woman in her 70s once wrote online, with heartbreaking honesty, "Every Sunday evening, I keep thinking my son might drop by. And when he doesn't, which is most Sundays, I tell myself it's fine. But inside, I still feel that little pinch of sadness. It's not that he doesn't love me, he's just busy. But I keep hoping." That's the thing about hope that's tied to other people. It hurts when it hangs in the air too long without landing. Modern Stoicism doesn't tell you to stop feeling. It doesn't ask you to shut down or get over it. What it offers is clarity, a powerful path to reclaiming your inner peace. It gently reminds you, don't place your peace where your power doesn't reach. The truth is, you can't control when your child picks up the phone. You can't make someone knock on your door just because you're feeling lonely. You can't force life to perfectly match your dreams, but you can absolutely control what you give to yourself today. Here's one simple yet profoundly effective practice shared by many older, Stoic-minded adults. Write down all the expectations swirling in your head and then sort them into two distinct lists. On one side, I hope my daughter calls this week. I hope my neighbor invites me for tea. I hope someone remembers it's my birthday. These go under outside my control. You cross them off, not because they don't matter, but because you're done letting them dictate your emotional weather. Then on the other side, I'll make myself a warm cup of tea and sit by the window. I'll write a birthday letter to myself about everything I've learned this year. I'll take a short walk just to feel the air on my skin. These stay. These are yours. These are where your power lives. It's not about shutting out the world. It's about no longer depending on it to complete you. Modern Stoicism isn't the absence of desire. It's the gentle pruning of false promises, so that real, sustainable joy has space to grow. Try this the next time you feel that familiar sting of disappointment. Place your hand over your heart. Take a deep breath and ask, what can I do today, just me, to feel a little more at peace? Maybe it's putting on your favorite music. Maybe it's watering a plant, writing a letter, or simply sitting still and savoring a quiet moment that belongs entirely to you. When you stop demanding that life give you what it never promised, you begin to see the unexpected gifts it quietly leaves at your doorstep. And that, my friend, is where your true strength begins. 2. Master your reactions. The power of inner composure. When you're older and living alone, your emotions can feel heavier than ever. Not necessarily louder, but more lingering, more personal. A quiet room can echo with thoughts you didn't even know you were carrying. Some days there's a deep sense of stillness that feels profoundly peaceful. Other days, it feels like being forgotten. A simple sound, the silence after a phone that doesn't ring, can hit you harder than it used to. And sometimes, without warning, a memory surfaces and you feel sadness wash over you without knowing precisely why. This is why Stoicism doesn't ask you to ignore your emotions, but rather teaches you something deeper. You don't control what you feel, but you absolutely control what you do with those feelings. You're not weak because you feel lonely, frustrated, or nostalgic. You're human, but you become stronger when you learn to recognize those emotions without letting them steer your entire day. One man in his late 60s shared on a forum, "I'd get upset for no reason, like suddenly missing my wife when I was peeling an orange. Just that the smell reminded me of her. I used to let that sadness spiral. Now I just say, there you are, memory. I take a breath, I let it pass." That's the Stoic mindset in action. Not suppressing, not drowning, just acknowledging and moving forward gently. So how do you master your reactions, rather than being controlled by them? Start small. Here are a few practices that many older adults find incredibly helpful. Pause before responding. When something triggers you, a disappointing call, a rude comment, a wave of sadness, take a breath. 3 deep ones if possible. Name the feeling. I feel hurt. I feel ignored. I feel alone. Naming it already takes away some of its grip. Write it out. Instead of reacting out loud, write your emotion down like a neutral reporter. Imagine someone else feeling this. What would you tell them? Often what we tell others is far kinder than what we tell ourselves. Ask the key question. What reaction will help me feel more peaceful right now? You can't stop the wave, but you can choose how you surf it. And that choice, even if tiny, is your immense freedom. A woman shared in a support group, "When I feel irritated, I ask, is this emotion worth the rest of my day? Usually the answer is no. So I go water my plants instead." This isn't about becoming numb. It's about responding instead of reacting, about giving yourself the space to choose. Emotions are not problems to solve. They're signals. They show up and then they go. But you are the one who decides what stays. Over time, as you keep practicing this emotional spaciousness, something beautiful happens. You stop being afraid of your feelings. You stop judging them. You start welcoming them as part of being human, and let them pass through you like wind through an open window. If you've ever faced a moment where your emotions nearly took the wheel, but you chose stillness instead, this one's for you. Comment, "I choose peace," to remind yourself and others that true strength is in how you respond, not just how you feel. Your comment might be just the light someone else needs today. Every reaction is a choice. Every comment spreads strength. Let's keep walking this Stoic path together. 3. Cultivate inner abundance, simplifying your space, freeing your mind. After living alone for a few years, I came to a strange yet profound realization. The things in my home weren't just taking up physical space. They were taking up space in my mind too. My closet was full, yet every morning I struggled with what to wear. My bookshelf was packed, but I no longer felt like reading. One day I stood in the kitchen, fumbling to find the right utensil, and suddenly laughed out loud. I owned 4 identical pots and only ever used one. I know you've probably been there too, holding on to things just in case, or because they're tied to some old memory. But it's those very things we can't seem to let go of that end up cluttering our homes and weighing down our hearts. Stoic philosophy doesn't ask you to live with nothing or be extreme. It simply asks one essential question: does this still nourish you? If the answer is no, then maybe it's time to gently let it go. Your home doesn't need to be empty. It just needs to be spacious enough that you can exhale when you walk through the door. I once cleared out a small corner by the window, just a wooden table meant for tea and books. It's now my peace corner, and I truly believe you can create a space like that for yourself too. I've heard many people my age say they feel overwhelmed by the endless tasks of the day, calling someone back, doing laundry, tidying up, fixing things, but not knowing where to start. In the end, they do nothing, and the day ends with a hollow feeling. A Stoic doesn't chase long to-do lists. They choose less but go deeper. One meaningful act a day, watering a plant, writing a few lines, or simply sitting still and breathing, can be enough to calm your soul. You might try writing your own light living map. One early morning ritual, one small joy during the day, one thing that makes you feel like yourself again. It doesn't need to be a lot. It just needs to be done with intention. You don't have to turn each day into a checklist of things to finish. Let it be a journey, just enough, not rushed, not lost. When you're less caught up in the outside noise, you'll begin to hear what your inner self truly needs. A Stoic doesn't live to collect, but to keep. They don't measure life by quantity, but by the profound peace that remains after each choice. The present moment doesn't need you to control it. It just needs you to be there, truly, completely. 4. Practice present moment awareness, living fully now. I used to leave the television on all day, not because I was watching it, but because I was afraid of the silence. The noise felt like a companion, not exactly close, but enough to make the emptiness less noticeable. Then one day I read something from an old man named Thomas living in Michigan. He's been widowed for nearly 15 years and lives alone in a small house near the woods. He wrote, "I used to live more in my head than in the present. I'd be drinking coffee in the morning and thinking about my hospital stay last year. Washing dishes, I'd find myself remembering my wife when she was alive. And just like that, I was living in places that no longer existed." That hit me hard. We often assume that at this stage in life, things slow down, but the truth is our minds still race, flipping between the past and the future, worrying about things that haven't happened yet or no longer exist. And in doing so, we miss the only thing we truly have, this very moment. I started changing in small ways. One morning, instead of turning on the news like I usually did, I poured hot water and just stood there listening to it flow into the cup. For the first time in ages, I noticed how good the tea smelled. Thomas also shared that every evening, he sits on his porch to watch the sunlight touch the tops of the distant pines. I don't think about anything, he wrote. I just sit there and feel alive. You can try that too. When you eat, try not to scroll on your phone, just eat. Really taste each bite, each flavor, like it's the most important meal of the day. When you walk, don't just rush to finish. Pause when you hear birdsong, look closely at a leaf, smell the earth after rain. These little things, they are life. A Stoic doesn't ignore reality. They choose to stay in it, moment by moment. Because they understand, only when you are fully present are you truly alive. I know you've probably felt that regret that the day flew by too fast, but the truth is it didn't. We just weren't fully there for it. 5. Embrace enough, finding contentment in simplicity. He who is not satisfied with a little is satisfied with nothing. Epictetus, aging isn't just a physical decline. It's also when the desires we haven't yet let go of start reflecting back at us. I used to think I wasn't someone who wanted much, but one day while cleaning my home, I realized I had held on to so many things I no longer used. Outfits I was saving for a special occasion, gifts no one remembered giving, faded photographs. I wasn't keeping them because I needed them. I was keeping them because I was afraid to let go. A man from New Mexico once shared with me, I kept my old guitar for 12 years. I didn't play it anymore, didn't feel the same spark. But every time I touched it, I saw a younger version of myself. Then one day I asked, do I still love this guitar, or am I just afraid to admit that I've changed? That's when you begin to learn what it means to have enough. Enough doesn't mean giving up the desire to live. It means recognizing when a role, a habit, or an old version of yourself has served its time. You might ask yourself, am I keeping this because I truly need it, or because I'm afraid to lose part of my past? What image of myself am I still clinging to, even though I've already outgrown it? A Stoic doesn't romanticize the past, nor do they reject what once mattered. They simply face the present honestly and choose only what is still necessary to carry forward. I started by clearing out a single drawer, an old notebook, a birthday card, a wool scarf no one wore anymore. I whispered quiet thanks to each item, then boxed them up either to donate or store away. Strangely enough, I didn't feel loss. I felt light, as if my mind had been swept clean right alongside the room. Knowing what's enough doesn't make you smaller, it makes you clearer. And from that clarity, you begin to walk more steadily, because there's one thing scarier than losing an object, and that's losing yourself in a past that's already gone. 6. Memento mori. Remembering your mortality to live fully. You may have noticed, death is the one truth that has been with us since the moment we were born. It's not a shadow lurking at the end of the road. It's a quiet companion walking beside us, whether we acknowledge it or not. When we're young, we're too busy to notice it. But as we grow older, death doesn't feel so distant. It starts to show up more clearly. In a medical checkup, the passing of a loved one, or a restless night wondering, what if I don't wake up tomorrow? For many, death is something to avoid thinking about. But Stoic philosophy teaches the opposite. Memento mori. Remember that you will die. Not to be morbid, but to live more deeply. I once read the story of a woman named Helen, age 79, from Oregon. After undergoing heart surgery, she began writing a one-line journal entry every night. What am I grateful for today? She didn't miss a single day for 7 years. I'm not afraid of dying anymore, she said. I'm only afraid of living without realizing I'm alive. I felt that deeply. When I began to see death as a companion rather than an enemy, I stopped postponing the little things. An overdue apology, an afternoon watching the sunset, or a quiet cup of tea, doing nothing but sipping and breathing. I also began to ask myself, If today were my last, what would I say and to whom? Is there anything I haven't forgiven, even in myself? You can start there too. You don't need to write a will or plan your funeral. You just need to be honest with your life as it is, because none of us knows how many sunrises we have left. The Stoics believe the one who faces death is the one who lives each day fully, not because they fear losing life, but because they understand the profound value of what's still here. When you live with death as a companion, everything becomes more vivid. A walk in the park is not just exercise, it's a moment of aliveness. A call with a friend is not just conversation, it's a connection that may never repeat. Even the smallest joys, a warm cup of soup, the sound of rain, the smell of clean sheets, feel like sacred gifts. And that's the heart of this practice, presence. Death reminds us that the future is not guaranteed, that the only real time we ever have is now. Not someday, not later, but now. This doesn't mean rushing or cramming your days with activity, quite the opposite. It means slowing down enough to notice what truly matters. It means saying what you need to say while there's still time. You don't need to fear death. You need to listen to what it's trying to teach you. So what can you do today? Forgive someone. Reach out. Watch the sunrise. Delete a grudge. Tell someone you love them without needing them to say it back. These aren't dramatic acts, they're real ones. Modern Stoicism invites us not to deny death, but to let it guide us. Seneca once said, "Life is long if you know how to use it." The goal isn't to live forever. The goal is to live fully. And death, when seen clearly, can become the most powerful reminder to do just that. Death is not the end. It is the reminder. Don't waste today. 7. Cultivate gentle discipline. Guiding your path, not forcing it. When you begin to see death as a companion, you stop living on the surface. You realize every morning you wake up is a precious gift, and the natural next step is wanting to use that gift fully. But living fully doesn't mean doing a lot. On the contrary, it means living intentionally. And to do that, you need discipline. I'm not talking about harsh, rigid discipline, not the wake up at 5 a.m. and exercise no matter the weather kind, or only eat clean, absolutely no sweets. Stoic discipline isn't about forcing yourself. It's about guiding yourself. It keeps you on course so you don't drift with your moods or fall into lazy habits. An older American friend of mine, Gary, age 72, once said something I've never forgotten. "I don't make a schedule to control my life. I make one so I don't lose it." Every morning he brews a pot of coffee, puts on his favorite classical music, and sits out on the porch. He doesn't do much, but he does it consistently, and that keeps him grounded, even in life's slower rhythms. The right kind of discipline doesn't drain you. It makes you feel more alive. It's how you know you're living, not just existing. I've created my own version of a gentle living routine. Wake up at 6:30 and open the window to let the light in. Drink a warm glass of water, no phone, no noise. Spend at least 10 minutes moving or meditating. At the end of the day, write down one thing that made me smile. These things won't make me exceptional, but they help me stay connected to myself. You can try creating your own self-care circle. Choose one thing for your body, a walk, some stretching, sunlight. One thing for your mind, journaling, reading, learning something new. And one thing for your emotions, listening to music, calling a loved one, tending to a plant. Do it gently, slowly, and willingly, not out of pressure, just out of presence. Stoics practice discipline not out of fear of failure, but out of respect for what remains. Every day is a chance that won't come back, and if you don't choose to live it, you end up just letting it pass. Before moving on, ask yourself, if I don't set a pace for myself, what is driving me each day? Discipline doesn't have to be loud, it just has to be you. Let's normalize gentle but steady progress together. Motto: slow and steady wins the inner race. 8. Embrace solitude as a sanctuary, coming home to yourself. Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul. Marcus Aurelius. No one is ever truly prepared for the feeling of solitude, not just temporary silence, but the kind that stretches across days. When no one asks if you've eaten, when the whole house sinks into profound stillness, when time slows down in a way you've never known before. Many people fear that the older we get, the easier it is to feel empty, so we try to fill the space. Keep the television on all day, scroll endlessly on our phones, prolong small talk just to hear another voice. We think the more noise there is, the less alone we'll feel. But Stoicism teaches something radically different. Solitude isn't something to fear. It's one of the most valuable opportunities you'll ever have to come home to yourself. It's only when there's no one left to talk to that you begin to have a real conversation with your own soul. Only when the outside world goes quiet can you finally hear what's speaking from within. The silence you once feared, if you dare to step into it, becomes not an empty room, but a sanctuary for the mind. A Stoic doesn't avoid loneliness, nor do they use it as a reason to pity themselves. They accept it as an essential part of life and use it as material for growth. No one wants to be isolated, but solitude is a conscious stepping back. It's choosing to withdraw from the noise of society to hear the quiet workings of your own heart and reason. It's knowing your worth without needing someone else to confirm it. When you live alone, your freedom is complete, but so is your responsibility. There's no one left to blame, no one to rescue you from your own moods, and everything circles back to one powerful question. Who am I when no one is watching? In the darkness of solitude, you'll come face to face with everything that's been hidden. Unspoken regrets, unnamed fears, unfulfilled longings. But if you don't run from them, if you sit with them patiently and gently, you'll find that silence doesn't break you, it heals you. A person can be surrounded by people and still feel empty, but someone who feels at peace when they're alone, that's a person with real strength. Nothing outside them can collapse their world, because they've learned to rely on what's within. Solitude, if you're willing to turn toward it, stops being an empty space and becomes a place of light. It's no longer the absence of others, it's the full presence of you. Try spending one day without drowning in noise. No social media, no need to speak just to fill the silence. Just you and your mind. Listen closely. What is it truly needing? What does it long for? What is it quietly remembering? Stoicism doesn't tell you to live coldly. It simply shows you that peace in solitude is the foundation for every deep connection that follows. When you're no longer ruled by the fear of being alone, you meet others not to fill yourself, but to share yourself. Can you sit with yourself doing nothing, just to hear what your own mind is thinking? If you can, that's when you stop fearing solitude and start using it to grow. Conclusion: your most powerful inner journey. Growing old is not the end. It can be the beginning of your most powerful inner journey. With modern Stoicism, you don't run away from life. You face it with calm, depth, and dignity. When the world gets loud, remember, silence is where Stoic secrets are heard. If this message resonates with you, don't just watch. Live it, like, share, and subscribe to the Stoic Secrets channel, and hit the bell icon so you don't miss the next chapter on your Stoic Antifragile. See you in the next video, and surround yourself with things that make you happy.